Hi everybody, this is an open letter to my friend Kelly Doyle and a video that she recently put up about being honest about her TBI and taking off her mask and giving everybody an update. And I'm like going to be looking at my notes. I literally have notes. But Kelly, I love you and I am so proud of you for being so brave to make that video. And I'm so proud of all the love that came running and for the people that showed her support and everything through that. And thank you for the shout out at the end of that video, Kelly. That was so sweet of you. And I just want to tell you that I'm able to do this video and I'm going to have to do it in one take because I've lost the, everybody knows that's been watching my channel, my computer died and I can't edit videos. I'm learning. I hope to learn until I can get a new a new computer, which people have helped me get a refurbished one. If we can find one that will do videos, it requires more memory than what most refurbished ones are on the shelf, we're finding out. But we'll keep working on it. I guess I'm apologizing because this is going to kind of be a one-take thing. And Kelly, even in your video, you were able to put together clips. You put them together at different places and where you were sitting different times. And I can't even do that, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you. And you gave me the inspiration to do this video. And I saw that in your video description, I think that you use iMovie on your iPhone. And I can't figure out how to do that. If I could, I'd be set. I've watched tons of videos and Robert has spent countless hours trying to show me. And even if you sat down and showed me, it's just not sticking for whatever reason. It seems that the software on the laptop is different and it seems to work with my brain. But I'm going to shoot this and I hope it's not too long. I just want to do an open letter to you, Kelly, in response to that video. And like I said, first of all, tell you how proud I am of you and how proud I am of everyone that showed up. And so you said that creating and posting videos is like drunk texting, and I so totally get that. And it's so odd with our brain injuries, and everybody's is different. But I love that you said that, Kelly, because it is. It's like you know, sometimes I can carry on a conversation and sometimes I can't. And sometimes I can't even text and thank goodness for autocorrect and everything. And in case anybody's wondering why I'm putting this in a video, Kelly and I keep missing each other. She says that she has contacted me and I can't find that, and I've reached out to her and haven't heard back. But that's what happens when you're in TBI flare-ups and TBI episodes. You just communicate when you can. And she brought up so many wonderful things that I just wanted to address them. And I want everybody else to hear it. And so I thought, okay, I'll do an open letter to my friend Kelly. So she says that it takes brain power, and it does take brain power. And Kelly, you said that and I know that you're in a better place now and that you're with friends. I'm just addressing that video on that day. And so I'm so proud of you for dogging for your needs and getting help and being with people and allowing people to show up and be there for you. And you know, that relatively safe thing, people freak out here on the road when we with disabilities talk about being relatively safe. And that would be true for me anyway if I was in sticks and bricks. When I can't think like that, and Kelly, you talked about not being able to cook, and there are tons of, like my friend Sue Ann, she doesn't travel, she travels with food without a refrigerator and food that you don't have to cook. And I'm going to try to remember to put in the video description. If I forget, you guys remind me in the comments about foods that you can keep on hand when you aren't able to be cognitively, when you're not cognitively functioning. And that's true for anybody that might have any kind of brain disorder, whether it's MS or from a brain injury or whatever it might be. And so I'm going to try to remember to do that and put links to like Sue Ann's blog where she talks about that. And there are so many of us that have had trouble since the RTR, that have brain problems or different disabilities. And so I'm hoping that the disability section will be handled next year, to where there is a quiet section, and to where it's still close to where we can go up to the seminars and everything on the days that we're able, but that will have a quiet section. And on that, I just want to address that Kelly talked about the party. RTR moved, and she had moved and couldn't get away and couldn't find quiet. And Robert and I addressed in a video where we tried and tried and tried to find quiet and finally gave up. And it is very difficult, and that's, I keep saying, that's why TBI wards have double doors and they're all quiet and everything. But there, and before people judge and say, well, then you just need to stay away from crowds, or you shouldn't go do that, or all of that, you know, that is true, and I'm coming to that realization. But do you realize that that means, and I don't want to speak for Kelly, but do you realize that that means I don't get to see my friends? Do you realize I'm not going to Wyoming this summer because it's too hard on me with my disability? And so I'm missing out on being with Robert and his family. Do you realize when you tell us things like, you should do this, or you know what you should do, or you should try this, think about what it means that we're missing out on. Think about how it affects our life. Think about, but just put yourself in our shoes. So yeah, maybe are we pushing that envelope? And Kelly, maybe did you push that envelope? You went to the WRTR. I went to a work gig. We both went to the RTR. I did a presentation. You know, people want us to come camp with them, and I love that that Randy and Kimber were going to take care of you. Randy, the mobile traveler, who's now leading one of the caravans. And yes, groups are hard for us, but I am going to have to try. Kelly, listen to me. This summer when Robert goes up to Wyoming, I can't camp alone. I can camp by myself, like away from people. And I can camp to where I'm within range, and people in my tribe know where I am and can come check on me and everything. But those days of solo, of just being out there and on my own and nobody knowing where I am and everything, is over. But I cannot do the crowds either. I can't be close to anybody. Just barking dogs, music, normal life, just it gets in the head, and it just goes boom, 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 and before you know it, like Kelly was talking about, we can't walk. I on a walking stick some days when my brain is like that. It is difficult. Kelly tried to explain a few things that happens with her in her brain, and I'm gonna look here. I'll come to it in her notes, but for now I just want to say that you know, what'd you say, drunk texting? Well, sometimes for me it's not just vertigo. Sometimes for me it feels like my brain is just like moving, and I know it's not physically possible, but it feels like it's moving. And sometimes it'll warble like a little bowl like that, and then sometimes it moves like that, and then sometimes it'll just spin. And oh my gosh, on the days when it does all of that, and it's impossible to move. It's impossible to carry on conversations. It's impossible to do the things, just like Kelly was saying in her video. And I want to address about being out on the road out here when those happen. Because Kelly, one of the things that you said is no one signed on to be our caregiver. And that is so true, and I get that, and I am battling with that. I battle with releasing Robert and saying, go on with your life, get out of here, run boy, run, run, run. Because I feel the same way. No one signed up to be our caregiver. No one has to be responsible for that. Unfortunately for me, I have a trustee, and he does have to be responsible. He legally is responsible to the federal government for me. But I get what you're saying. And I have a friend that pointed out to me that it's kind of like, you know, Karen and I gave the seminar at the RTR on traveling with disabilities. And it's kind of like if she's in her wheelchair and she goes across the street and she gets to a curb, and she's by herself, that she can't manage to get up onto the sidewalk off of the street, people are going to come running. There will be people walking by that will help get her on that sidewalk, and then she's on her merry way. And I'm just using that as an example because I know my friend Karen won't mind me using that as an example, in her as an example. But anyone in a situation like that, when people step up to help as a stopgap, that is not the same as someone signing on to be your caregiver. When people come to and offer to come get you to help, and or people do offer to do whatever, is it comfortable? No. I used to be the one that was out there giving the money. I used to be the one helping people. I used to be the one that was on that other side. And being on this end of it and needing help on occasion, it sucks. It is not comfortable and it stinks. But you also have to honor where you are at this time if you have a disability. And so, Kelly, I say that to you. I say it to myself. I say it to anybody that is out here with a disability. We don't get to pick and choose sometimes when we feel good and when we don't, and when we need help and when we don't. Sometimes we can be smarter. I'm going to have to start giving up more and more of my life of being with my friends and people, and being and camping with people, and doing some of the things that I really enjoy doing. I really am going to have to limit that and honor my disability. But for people to help get the wheelchair up on the sidewalk out of the street, that is not the same as saying that no one signed up to be your caregiver. And you were saying that things were insane around you and you went to a rest stop and you were just trying to find quiet. And I get that. And when people are like, well, you know, when we have to stay in a place for days on end until we get better, and I'm holding my book for my notes, but when people, what I want people to understand is that we can do that, and we might end up in a little bit of a sketchy place, and some truck stops even to stay overnight are a little bit sketchy, but you stay in your van, and if you have to call 911 or something you do. That is true even in a group home or assisted living or the community housing. Forgot what it's called, but the where you get a discount on housing. You might be in a sketchy place, and so that doesn't have to do really with being on the road. And I just want people to understand that the disability goes with us wherever we go, and those factors go with us wherever we go. We can inch down the road just like Kelly did, and I'm proud of you for that, Kelly. I can't do the zoom travel that my friends like to do. Ever since I've been out here, it seems like I have hooked up with friends from Bob Wells to Sue Ann Carlson to other friends to Robert that like to do and can do and enjoy doing all of these long mileages and quick trips, and I can't do it anymore. I used to, but I have to inch down the road now. And on those days, Kelly mentioned that, you know, there are moments when that window opens and you can go, okay, I can go to the store now, so I'm going to go get me some food and water and whatever else I need to do. And then you're wiped out again. And that's absolutely true. There is a great, and again, I'll try to remember this is where I would edit. This is where I would stop and I'd go get the person's name, and so I could come back and tell you, and I'd put a nice little title down at the bottom and tell you the person, but I can't remember it right now, and so I'll try my best to remember to put it in the video description, but I might forget. But there is a great video that one of the TBI life coach counselors I follow on YouTube put out about A, B, and C batteries. And that when we're functioning at an A battery, we can go to the store and we can do things and we can do self-care and we do it within our limitations, and we come back and we get the groceries put up and we're okay. If we go and we're on a B battery, if we're not careful, that'll take us down to a C battery, but we certainly aren't back up to an A battery for a while. If we have to go to the store or do laundry or do things like that and we're on a C battery, yeah, we're flat out probably by the time we get done with that. I went to Walmart the other day by myself, and I enjoy going by myself because I can go at my pace, and I wear my handy dandy headphones that I have now over my earplugs, and it really, I can't hear, and it makes it lovely, but I can't hear. So that, you know, people that are deaf, they're like, yeah, there's no blessing in that. But for me with the brain injury, there is. And it took me 2.5 hours at Walmart, and I did not buy that much. It was just a normal little shopping trip. 2.5 hours at Walmart, and I got home, and it took me 2 hours to put it up. And when I went, I was on an A- battery, and it knocked me down to a C for 2 days. But I could do it. And even if I was in assisted living and went on an outing with somebody or something, that would be the case. And let me see what else. Kelly talked about everybody seems to think that if you're on disability, there's free housing everywhere. Kelly, thank you for saying that. I really appreciated you putting that out there. And actually, housing assistance, which is different than assisted living, which is kind of a nursing home environment, but housing assistance has a 2 to 7 year wait list. Okay, did everybody hear that? I could go apply today, and it's by county. And so you have to decide where you want to live in a county for the rest of your life, because once you get out of that program, they're probably not going to let you back in because it's federally funded no matter where you go. So you decide what county you want to live in for the rest of your life. If you can get into the program, and most people do not, I forgot the percentages now, and again, that's different by county, but it's a 2 to 7 year wait list. And most of them are not neighborhoods. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but most of them are not neighborhoods that they would be called sketchy, like Kelly said in her video that she parked for a while in a sketchy neighborhood and had to leave. You don't get to leave, and they typically go downhill. And even if they're great when you move in, if they go downhill, you can't move out. You don't get to transfer. So I know there are exceptions, and somebody's going to write in and go, that's not true. My Aunt Matilda moved 9 times and kept her assisted living and housing assistance. And I know that there are exceptions, but trust me, I worked for the state of Texas for the health department and for the Department of Assistive and Rehabilitative Services. I know about those, and it is not just limited to Texas. At every state, that there's real stringent rules and restrictions around that, and it's not easy, and it's not available. You don't get to just walk in and go, okay, I'm here, and this is my income, and I have my letter of disability, and my trustee's here with me, and I need this now. It just doesn't work that way. Can you go ahead and get on a waiting list? Yes. Where do you stay in the meantime? Because they usually want you to be a resident of that county while you're on the waiting list. How are you going to do that? So anyway, thank you for bringing that up, Kelly, because it's not always that easy. And so I think what I want to say, and I've got still more pages of notes, but one of the things is that you can be safe out here on the road with a cognitive disability, and it is a physical disability, and it is a medical disability. You just don't get to do the things that you used to maybe do. And I may end up traveling with friends, and like I said, Randy the mobile traveler, and Kimber that Kelly mentioned in her video, are heading up a caravan. I think they're quitting I think their time comes to an end at the caravan about the same time Robert leaves, but I would do the caravan with them leading that because I know them, but I would have to park on the outside edge, and I wouldn't be a part of the caravan, so it's like there are solutions. There are things that we can do, and Kelly, there are things that you can do. You just don't get to live the life that maybe you want to. You and I have a lot of friends that are living life large and loud, and I don't know about Kelly or others that are cognitively impaired, but I don't get to do that anymore. I miss out on a lot, but I get to do a lot. Can you hear that? Can you see that view behind me? And my friends, Class A that I'm staying in right now, because we're going to do my van build one more time. And Kelly said that it's maybe getting to the time of her not being on the road anymore, and she's looking at selling her van. And best wishes to you on that, Kelly. My trustee and Robert and I are pretty clear that this van build has to work for me, or my days on the road may be over, or at least in fancy free. In a small Class A, I could probably handle that, but I wouldn't be able to do the gray tanks and the black tanks. I had a bumper pull super spree trailer, and even with note cards. And mind you, I'd been doing this for many, many years. It wasn't anything new to me. I know camping, I know travel trailers, I know RVs, I know how to do black tanks and gray tanks, and I got to where I couldn't do that. But I could live in it like I do my van and stand up and maybe have a little bit more room. But I don't even know that I am going to keep encumbering the people around me. Like, the sun's coming out. It's been raining so much, you guys. It's so much fun to see the sun. I know what it's like to feel like you're a burden to people, Kelly. But when you have a disability, you have to dog for your needs. You have to be able to say yes, please, and thank you for the help. You have to be able to let people get you up off of the streets and onto the sidewalk, metaphorically, whatever that looks like for you, and give back every way that you can. That's all each of us can do, right? But you can't put yourself at risk. You can't take that lower rung on the ladder just so that you are not bothering other people. You find that independence and find that balance and find the life that works for you. And folks, it's not easy. It's not easy for anybody. But when you have a disability, it's really tough. And I just wanted to do this open letter to Kelly and address all of that. And say that, Kelly, you inspired me with that video, and you inspired me to try to put this out on iPhone, and we'll see how it goes. And the sun is really coming in and blinding me now. I don't know what to do. And see, and I can't stop and edit it, so you're gonna get what you get. And that bit about the people saying, if you didn't think about it so much, maybe you could get over it. Well, that's like, you know, that's like, I agree with you, Kelly. It's like, that's like somebody saying, you know, if you just think you can and really work on it, you'll be able to walk again. Or if you just take the positive road and manifest positivity and creative light and everything, your diagnosis will heal. And that may be true, but that isn't helpful in the moment, and people need to understand that. One of the things that I used to always enjoy about my son, and I celebrated for him and with him, was that he had Down syndrome, and he honestly believed he could be the next president of the United States. He was saving every penny he could to get a truck, because he believed that he was going to be turning 16, and he knew he would be, and he was going to drive. He didn't know what he couldn't do. And sometimes I think there is a great blessing in that. When you're aware every minute, every waking moment of what you can and can't do, and you're struggling so hard, it is very difficult. And for me, my brain injury is turning into a lot like very autistic, and I'm not I tell people all the time, please look at the PDR, that it is true. Brain injuries do develop autism sometimes. They also develop other cognitive disabilities. And so I'm not just saying that or being glib about autism. There was an old Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman movie, Rain Man, and he was 4 o'clock Wapner, 4 o'clock Wapner, 4 o'clock Wapner, because he had to watch Judge Wapner at 4 o'clock. I'm getting that way if I let myself, and I'm battling that every day. I make myself not do something routine just so that I'm not 4 o'clock Wapner brain. That's what I call it. I develop a 4 o'clock Wapner brain. And I also, my brain is getting to the point where I could sit in a chair and just stare for hours. Fortunately for me, instead of sitting in a wheelchair facing a nursing home wall, I could sit and stare for hours at ravens and mountains and beautiful scenery, but I go away, and I am battling that. I'm trying to keep my mind in here and keep my mind active. And I don't know how this video is going to be received because there's no editing in it. Whatever, you know, the sun, the everything, all that kind of stuff I would normally correct for you guys, and I don't get to right now because I don't know how. I don't have my computer, and I can't always put up talking head videos, but I'll work it out. But I just wanted to write back to Kelly and say, girl, you keep on keeping on. You find a way to accept help so that you get your needs met, wherever that may be, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's out here or anywhere else. And don't you ever apologize for that. None of us with a disability needs to ever apologize for that. Do we need to stay strong and independent and do the best we can and fight to overcome the limitations and live the best life we can? Absolutely. But we don't ever need to apologize for needing help to get out of the street and up onto the sidewalk. That just is what it is. So I'll close like Kelly did and say, I'm Deborah Dickinson. Glad you guys are here with me today. I am a TBI thriver. I'm a vlogger. As soon as I get my ability back to keep the vlogs going. And I am an author and a lover of life. Life is beautiful, and I can't always say that every day. There have been days when I'm like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I told Robert, I think some days I can't do it anymore. And then I see something like Kelly Doyle saying she can't do it anymore, and I'm like, oh, hell no, girlfriend, we've got this. We are going to keep on keeping on. And that's my open letter to you. That's my open letter to anyone out here struggling with a disability or struggling anywhere with a disability. We've got this. Keep on keeping on. I'll see you down the road, everybody. Bye.